Alright everyone, so I've been seeing people on Facebook asking about a gas bag training video, so I'm going to record this video and show you guys, give you the basic rundowns on how to fly them, what stats you need and everything like that. So as a start, I have a gas bag here that's already been doubled. Um, it currently has 3,500 stamina, 8,002 oxygen, 7,000 weight, and 174 movement speed. That is the perfect stats basically to have a travel bag, which is what you would use for getting around the map. The 7K weight allows you to carry a decent amount of stuff, so if you're using it for drops on extinction or general use, that is plenty of weight for that as well. If you decide you want to use the gas bag for weight, then you would put all the points into weight, so bring it up to around 10K weight, and you would still have about 4K oxygen as a general supply for traveling around the map. Okay, so here's the basic key points. Obviously, everyone who knows what a gas bag is knows that they fly by using the air supply. So if you look in the bottom left there, I've got 659 air supply. Well, the air supply will allow me to stay up for a little longer. You want to have stamina so you can actually use it more often. So that's why you want 3.5k to 4k stamina depending on your stats. So the basic concept is when you take off with a gas bag, you're going to press X to take off, and you're going to use the directional arrow to decide which way you want to go. So an example, if you want to go behind you, you pull backwards and hit X. You'll fly backwards, and as you're moving, you will turn around. And that will work for any direction you want to go. So if you need to go up to a high area, you'll aim upwards and hit X, and that'll launch you up high into the air. Main thing is to make sure you keep an eye on your air supply, because where your air supply will determine how high you can go and how long you can stay in the air, and depending on how much air supply you have, how much damage you would take if you will take fall damage when you're landing. So as you can see here, I'm just kind of floating down. I use X to slow myself down a little bit. So basically, when you're traveling where you want to go, like when you're using it to fly, whatever direction you want to go, you want to look into. You're going to tap X and push in that direction. So in this case, I'm going to go forward. So I'm going to hit X and forward at the same time, which will put me going forward. When you're actually flying, you only want to use X and the forward buttons to maintain altitude. So once you're at a good altitude, you use X and the control stick to maintain your altitude. Actually, while keeping an eye on air supply. When you want to land the gas bag, you can release your air supply to slow yourself down, or you can just maintain some air supply and let yourself, hit the ground. As long as you have over 150 air, you won't take any fall damage. Because, as you see, that was a lot of air. So, that one was a bad example. I actually lost a lot of air. So, basically, if you're going to land hard like that, you want to make sure you're close to the ground. You don't really need to fly very high above the ground. So, I'll show you when I get here. When you're actually moving around, you don't need to be very high. So like right now, I'm actually at where I need to be for travel flight. So when I'm traveling, I don't need to go very high when I'm moving forward, because the higher you go, the more air you need when you land. So that previous landing was actually a bad example because I dropped really, really far. So when you're traveling, you want to stay roughly about 50 feet above the ground. As long as you do that, you should be good to go. If you are going to go to a much lower area like this, you want to just kind of slow yourself down and use your air to descend slowly, because the slower you descend, the less air you're going to lose when you actually hit the ground. So as you can see on the left there, I'm using up air supply to get down, but I'm just moving slowly. So when I do land, I'm only going to, actually I didn't lose any air there at all. So there you go. Perfect example. If you do think you're going to lose all your air supply and take fall damage, you will want to dismount. I'm not going to show you that because I typically try not to do that. But, like I say, if that's going to happen, it's going to happen. So just, keep an eye out on your air supply and everything like that. So what I'll do now is I will actually head towards the exit of this area that I'm at. I'm actually on the Aberration biome on Valguero map on a friend's tribe. I'm going to travel to the exit so you can see basically how you would travel when you're going around the map. keep in mind that when you're trying to go in a direction, if you're flying in a direction and you're trying to change direction, you will use up a decent amount of air supply, slow yourself down, and altering your direction of travel. As actually you can see here, I'm not really going up, I'm maintaining altitude the entire time. That's what you want to do when you're flying in a gas bag. You just want to maintain altitude or keep it to a certain height above the ground. That way when you go to land, you're not going to use up a lot of your air supply. Huh, I forgot where to spawn down here. So like moving forward, tap X. Once you're actually moving, you let go of the controls, and then you just let yourself glide. Like I say, you only press X on the joystick to maintain altitude and movement speed. Now obviously hitting trees is going to slow you down, but you know, that's not a bad thing because it'll also keep you from using up too much air. I don't think I'm going the right direction to get out of here. That's fine. You can still see where you're going. Oh, lag. It's a big lag spike. It's not going to help with video. There we go. But as you can see, it's actually relatively easy once you figure out what you're doing. Like I said, the biggest thing is air supply and height. Okay, it's actually going really high right now, so when you go up real high like this, you're going to maintain your air supply by just releasing it to slow your descent. And then when you touch the ground, you won't lose up a lot of your air. And that's, you know, it's pretty simple, easy. And if you look on the top right as well, like every time you do suck in air, jump, or whatever, you use up your stamina. That's why you want to maintain a decent level of stamina on your gas bag when you're traveling around. See if I can get back to base now. So yeah, it's relatively simple once you know what you're doing. Actually, with that one there, that example right there, if you aim lower, you don't jump as high. So if you aim like roughly about the height of where you're sitting at on the gas bag, you'll go up a little higher. And there's a prime example of when you change directions, you're going to lose a lot of air, because it took me a lot of air to actually change my direction just then and slow down. So keep that in mind when you're flying around, that you will lose a lot of air sometimes when you're trying to change your direction and slow your speed. So take off, let go of the controls, let yourself float. There's a lake over there. Use the air to turn. And see, there you go. That's pretty much it. Maintain your supply. Keep track of how fast you're going, which direction you're going. That was a bad takeoff there. It's the only downside of trees with a gas bag is you get stuck easily sometimes. So refill your oxygen. Like I said, maintain an eye on your stamina, because you will lose stamina every time you inflate, deflate, and use your air supply in the air. And like I say, maintaining your air supply on a constant movement allows you to go pretty far. With the right stats, you can actually travel a pretty good distance with a gas bag. I can go around, with this gas bag here, I could travel around the outskirts of Extinction in about 10-15 minutes on maybe 3 or 4 jumps. The easiest way to descend if you're moving forward very quickly is pull back on the joystick and just like let yourself level out. once you actually are descending, use your air supply to drop down. A lot of this is going to be figuring out yourself, but a lot of the basics is very easy to understand in my personal opinion. This is how it works. So that's the video. Tell me what you think. If you have any further questions, feel free to reach out on me. I have a post up on Facebook. You can access me through the ARK group. So just feel free to, ask any questions. I'll answer to the best of my knowledge. And thank you for watching the video.